In this video, we are going to look at some early numeration systems. And a numeration system is just a set of numerals or symbols together with some way of arranging those numerals to represent numbers. We are all most familiar with the Hindu-Arabic numeration system. So this just consists of the numerals 0, 1, 2, etc. through 9, so 10 numerals. And we use this together with place value. So that's the method of arrangement. So for example, if you have the number 321, we know that the location of the 1 in the ones place means it represents 1. The location of the 2 means it represents 20, and the location of the 3 in the hundreds place means it represents 300. So this is 321. Another numeration system is the Egyptian hieroglyphic numeration system. And in this system, these symbols are used to represent numbers. And it's an additive system, which means that any given number is written using the numerals whose sum equals that number. So for example, if you wanted to write the number 1,301,212, you could write this using, okay, so 1 million, we have one astonished person, and 300,000, so we would have 3 fish, and you can write them in any arrangement. It doesn't matter if I write the fish vertical like this or horizontal. And then we have 1,000, so we're going to have 1 lotus flower. And 212, so 200s would be 2 scrolls. And 12 would be written in 2 strokes. Okay, so that is how you could write. Here we have Hindu-Arabic number, and here we have the hieroglyphics. So let's do an example where we write the hieroglyphics in Hindu-Arabic numerals. And remember, Hindu-Arabic is just our familiar numeration system. So in this case, we know that the fish here represents a 100,000. It's an additive system, so I'm going to write an addition sign. The lotus flower represents 1,000. The pointing finger represents 10,000, so we have 20,000 because there's 2 of them. And finally, I have 5 strokes, so that just represents 5. So this number is 121,005. So that's the Hindu-Arabic for the hieroglyphics. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of math using Egyptian hieroglyphics. We are going to calculate this sum, 32 plus 81. So I'm going to go, and first I'm going to write the number 32. So that is going to require 3 heel bones and 2 strokes. And we're going to add that to 81. So 81 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heel bones in 1 stroke. And if I add these together, notice that I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I get 3 strokes. But 11 heel bones can be written as, that's equal to 100, right? So 1 scroll. So I can write that with 1 scroll, and then I still have 1 heel bone left over and 3 strokes. So this is how I could write my final answer. You can see that that is 113, right? If I wrote that in Hindu-Arabic, which is exactly what we expected looking at our Hindu-Arabic numerals. The last example that I want to look at is Roman numerals. So here you can see the numerals for the Roman numeration system. Okay, so 1 is the I, 5 is V, 10 is X, etc. So you can see them in the table. And they follow, this is an additive and subtractive system. Okay, here are the rules that we're going to follow to understand how to write Roman numerals. The first rule is that if smaller number is on the right, then we add, so it's an additive system. Okay, so for example, if I were to write L and then X, well, we know L is larger, it represents 50, and X represents 10, so this would be the number 60, okay, because the smaller number's on the right, so we add. The second rule tells us that I, X, C, and M can be repeated at most 3 times. So that just means if I were to write C, 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 that can represent the number 300, but I cannot use C, 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 C to represent 400, okay? For 400, we would use the subtractive property instead. And that's the next rule says if a smaller number is on the left, we subtract. So in order to write 400, what I would do instead is I would write D, which is 500, but then I would write the C to the left, and then I would know the smaller number is on the left, the larger number is on the right, so we're going to be subtracting instead of adding, and so this would give me 400. So 500 minus 100. The last rule here says that V, L, and D cannot be repeated. Okay, instead what you're going to do is just do the subtractive thing I did above. So let's start by just writing the Roman numerals for our basic Hindu Arabic numbers. So if I wanted to write the number 1, I would just write the I. And in order to write the number 2, I'm allowed to repeat I, okay, because remember, because this rule, so I'm just going to write 2. And then I can write 3, but I'm only allowed to repeat up to 3 times. So what I'm going to do next is, in order to get the number 4, I'm going to write the 5 here, V, and I'm going to write a 1 to the left, which tells me to subtract 1. To write the number 5, well, that's one of our basic numerals, so that's just V. To write 6, we can use the additive property, so VI. 7, I can, and this is the easy part, I can keep adding up until I've added 3 times. When I get to 9, okay, I'm going to have to, since I can only add 3 times, I'm going to have to go to the X, and I'm going to have to subtract 1, so I'm going to put that to the left to indicate subtraction. Okay, and so 10 is given in our table as X. So if we want to do, let's do 11. So again, I'm going to use the additive property XI, 12, XII, 13, we have XIII. Now I'm kind of stuck at 14, so we are going to do the X and then I and then V for 14, because X gives me 10, but then to get the 4, I remember I have to use the 5 and then subtract 1. And then you can keep going in this manner. So let's write the number 473 using Roman numerals. So I'm going to start by looking at the 4. How do I express 400? So again, remember, I can't do C, 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 because I can only repeat 3 times. So I'm going to do, I'm going to use 500. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 100 by writing it to the left. Next, I want to express 70, so I can use the L and 2 tens, and that's perfectly fine. To express the 3, I'm just going to use 3 I's. So this is 473 in Roman numerals. Let's do one last example. Let's write MCDXLV in Hindu Arabic numerals. So remember, Hindu Arabic is our nice, familiar number system. And so let's break this number down. I see the M, and we know M is 1,000. Okay, there's next I see a C, which we know is 100, and I see a D, which is 500. So when the smaller number is on the left, we know to subtract. So D and C would give me 400. Next, I see X, which is 10, and I see L, which is 50. So again, we've got this situation where the smaller number's on the left. So if we have 10 and then we have 50, this represents 40. And then I have a V, and V is 5. So this is the Hindu Arabic number 1445.